Look at how big that is. That is huge.
He plays video games all day, and his wife is fed up.
Hey, what's up? It is October 22nd, and some new experimental patch notes just dropped. So I wanted to talk about them a little bit, say some of my thoughts, mainly on the support ones, because this is a support-based channel, but I will be talking about all of them. I'll get right into it, so this is a quick video. First up is Baptiste. So they did quite a few adjustments to him. First off with his primary fire, so his actual rifle. The recovery time was reduced, so it shoots a little bit faster. It's by 0.07 seconds. So a little bit faster now, and the damage was reduced on each bullet by 1 damage. I mean, I don't really have any big thoughts on that. I guess faster recovery is always good for Baptiste because of how often you're swapping between firing modes. So I'm fine with faster recovery versus more damage. Secondary fire, recovery was increased on this one by 0.1 seconds, but the healing dome was increased from 50 to 60, which is interesting, so it's a little slower now.
Got you good as new.
It feels a little sluggish, for sure, but that's probably just because I'm used to the old version. I would say pretty much the same as the previous change, no big issues with it. I like that, you know, he has to be a little bit more calculated now just because of how much slower the fire rate is, so no big issues. The next thing is the biggest part with his amplification matrix. The size was just about doubled, which I must say I am not a fan of. I'll show you real quick. Like, look at how big that is. That is huge. I get, so the reasoning behind it was because they were noticing Baps using it more selfishly versus using it with the team, and if they did use it for the team had to play around it, which I understand why they did that, but I think, this is my opinion, that Baps, his toolkit is already a little bit too diverse and easy to use, like with this little immortality field he has, how easy a self-heal has, and he has this mobility, and his primary fire is pretty much as good as Soldier's, and his heal is only a little bit lower than Anna's. I think it's a bit much. I hope the amplification change doesn't go through. If they really want to go through, I hope they meet somewhere in the middle, because I think that's too big of a change for Baptiste. Up next is Brig. I'll go swap to her. Okay, we're back. Not much to talk about here. Her health was just increased by 25. No changes to her armor. Or her health was increased from 150 to 175, so put it by 25. This is the first time they've started doing changes in 25s. From what I saw in the comments, they've always done it in 50s just to keep it simple, I guess, for players to understand the changes. But they're going to be trying more granular changes. So she went from 225 total or 200 total to 225. Not a big fan of any changes like this to Brig, only because Brig is another one of those really low skill floor heroes, and I think we're all well aware of what happens when Brig is strong, the kind of metas that come out of that. But really the direction they should be going in with Brig is trying to make her a little bit more, making her better in regards to having a high skill ceiling. I haven't really put any thoughts into exactly how that would happen, but maybe putting her into more mechanically based role or mechanically heavy role, something like that. I don't think direct health increases is what should be happening with her. That's it for the support changes. Let me swap over to Mcree. Okay, we are on Mcree. So he had 2 changes. First off was his health was increased from 200 to 225. No major issues with that. I think that's a fine middle ground because him and Mei do have the same mobility, but Mei is at 250 health with a invuln that also heals her, while Mcree is at 200 with 1 movement mobility, which is a little roll. No, not really much. He does have a stun, but Mei's stun is, you know, never on cooldown. So I'm fine with that change, but I would prefer to see a. I don't think Mcree feels good with his revolver being the way it is. If they had to reduce damage, I'd be fine with it as long as the recovery time on the revolver went back down. I do not think this just doesn't feel very good. I don't like the recovery time, but others might feel differently. His other change was his revolver's reload time was decreased from 1.5 to 1.2, so a pretty big decrease by 0.3 seconds. It certainly feels good. I don't know. I would trade both these changes for a recovery time reduction on his shots. But that's just me. That's really all to be said about Mcree, so I'll swap over to Mei. Okay, we are on Mei. So her first change is that Cryo Freeze now restores ammo. So I'm excited to see that. Let me just get rid of as much ammo as I can. Okay. Actually, it takes a while now that her right click consumes so little. So if you watch down in the bottom right, she gets it at 15 per second. So if she's fully empty, that'll put her up to 60 if she stays in it the full time. My thoughts on this change.
Double kill.
I guess it would help her with a little bit sustained during a fight, but if they're gonna make a change like this, maybe could have dialed up ammo consumption just because, I don't know, I don't think May's in a poor spot right now. I think if she needs play, she can be played. There are spots where May can be played. Like I said, not too many thoughts on May changes. And then her wall, the cooldown was decreased. I think I like the wall changes because I think wall is one of the only things that can separate a good May player from for instance, like a good soldier or a good Mcree player. Good wall play is what, separates good Mays from bad ones, or good Mays from great Mays. So I like that change. Let May be a little bit more effective in more ways than shooting and stunning. So I like to see that. I'm gonna swap over to Symmetra. Okay, we are on Symmetra. Nothing really to show. It's just that her shields were increased from 100 to 125. So that's the part that does regen. So now she is at total 225. At least from my time on console, and I would say on PC as well, I do like this change, just because she does feel a little bit too weak currently. The only movement she has is the teleporter, and generally you're not going to be using that selfishly. You're going to be using it for faster spawns or something like that. So I'm a big fan of this change, absolutely. Because, like I said, she's like Mcree, minus no CC and no movement, so besides the turrets. So, I like that change. And then the last one is Widow. I will swap over to that. All right, we are on Widow. Her health was actually reduced by 25, which is pretty interesting. I was trying to put a thought together before I made this video. I was hoping I'd have one when I cut all the way through, but I'm not sure how I feel. On one hand, it does punish Widows that take too aggressive positioning, because when Widows are allowed to have aggressive positioning and they're hitting their shots, it's just, you feel so oppressed playing against a Widowmaker like that, one that's good, and maybe that shouldn't be in your rank or something like that. But on the flip side, it may make Widowmaker players play way too passively, or just enforce styles of play that aren't enjoyable in a game like this, that might be more suited towards like shooters like CS or something like that. So I'm really not sure how I feel about this. I hope you guys have some thoughts on that. But I'm not sure if these changes should go through. I think maybe some more thought should be put into this. I'm not quite sure yet. If I think of something else, I'll put it in the description. But otherwise, thank you for watching. Really let me know. I really want to hear what people think about the BAP changes and the Brig changes. So let me know in the comments below. Thank you very much.